Hi guys, Lisa He of Borderlands Bakery here, and we're making these adorable shark and ring buoy cookies today to celebrate Shark Week. Make sure to check out the description box below for the link to the written instructions and the templates on our blog. First, you want to bake and cool your cookies, make your base icing, and then meet me back here. Here I'm just showing you guys some of the tools that I like to use when I'm mixing my icing. I've got some water on the side to water down the icing with a dropper. I've also got some food color. Today I'm using the Master Elite brand of colors from the Sugar Art, some piping bags, some PME black pearls. I talk about why in my blog post that these are my favorite because they don't bleed, a little bowl, spatula, a scribe, a cookie scribe to move your icing around and to create some details, as well as an extra cup to put our icing bags in. And that's a spatula for the bowl. First thing we're going to do is take our piping bags, open up by inserting your hand into the middle of the piping bag, putting it in your cup, and then grabbing the sides of the bag and rolling it down the sides of the cup. And since we're making 3 types of icing today, go ahead and just do that 3 times. It won't be too thick, and it'll save you a little bit of time when you're filling these bags with your icing. Get your base icing out, and we are going to mix our colors. So this is icing that's been sitting around for a little while. You can see that it's separated due to gravity. That's normal. Just give it a stir to bring it back to the desired consistency. This is what my icing looks like pretty much straight out of the mixer. I added just tad more water to this than usual. I'm getting out a little bit of icing, and I'm actually going to mix all 3 of my colors in just one bowl today, and I will show you how I do that. I usually move from light to dark colors, and sometimes I can kind of move backwards as well. So if you have extra like red icing left in the bowl, you can tone it to pink by adding white, etc. But we're going to start with white. Use a little scooper like this one here, super cute. It's available in my shop to get some powdered food color out so you don't get it all over the place. I'm going to do a little zooming so you can see exactly what's happening here. We're going to add water to activate that Master Elite powder color. It does require water to be activated, which is why we're adding water. And I'm just going to give it a good mix. And the reason why I'm making white is because our icing comes out of the mixer a little bit creamy or slightly brown tinged because of that natural vanilla extract that we do use in our icing base. So here we go, mixing that consistency. I use a single consistency for both outlining and flooding. So what you see here is that consistency that we're going to get to. It's something that doesn't settle on its own. You really have to give it a wiggle for all the peaks to settle, and that's what our scribe is going to be used for later when we're doing this on the actual cookie. Alright, so grab your piping bag, and we're going to transfer our icing into the piping bag. So this is the white. Again, this is our first color. Get your piping bag out of the cup. Kind of squeegee all that icing down toward the bottom of the bag, and tie a knot at the top of the bag. And you can only do this if you don't have that much icing. If you want to maximize room in a bag, I'm going to show you how I'll use a clip later to secure instead. So moving on, we're going to work on that next color, and it's going to be red. Master Elite reds are wonderful because they don't taste funky, they're highly pigmented, and they give you a really beautiful true red. Here we are activating that again with some water. And we are going to mix it all up. It's very important when working with Master Elites to ensure that water is used to get that activated. If you thin your icing down a little bit too much, no worries. You can also add some powdered sugar to thicken it back up. So here we are, we're almost there. And you can see how I test it, right? I let it fall off of my spatula and then I jiggle it with my spatula to feel out that consistency. And just take your time here to make sure that you have the consistency that you desire. Doing the same thing here, we are going to fill our piping bag. I'm sticking my spatula in and squeegeeing it off with my hand so that I get the most product off the spatula as possible. And I'm actually clipping it because there's a little more icing in this than there was last time, and I also just want to show you what an option is. And the clip here is something that we offer in our shop. It's very stable, it's super strong. As you can see, when you squeeze it, nothing comes back out the other side. So that's actually one way to secure your bags if you want to maximize the space. And now we're adding a little more icing and making that final color, and it's going to be gray. And I'm adding a little bit of extra black icing here actually, because that will tone it down to gray. And I'm also still using that Master Elite powder when I created that black icing originally. And you can see that there's a bit of leftover red in the bowl, and that's okay. It's not really going to affect the color that we're going to achieve, so no worries there. And it tones it to a nice gray. A tiny bit of color left over from the previous that's mixed into this new color actually very subtly ties all the colors of your palette together. So a slight pink tinge, and you would never be able to tell if you were not looking carefully or that you knew. We're putting that in our bag just like before. I'm actually using a spoonula, a mini spoonula here. We offer those in our shop as well. Check us out, borderlandsbakery.com/shop. Would mean the world to us if you supported us that way. Anyway, tie off the bag, and now we are ready. I'm gonna sniff off the ends of the bags because I don't like having them dangling, and it just makes it more comfortable for me. All right, I'm just grabbing my pearls, grab my scribes, we're ready to go. Here I'm showing you how I cut tipless piping bags for flooding. And they all have a seam down the middle, and we're going to trim at the tip and directly across. If you need a lesson on how to use tipless piping bags, check out the link below. I've got like a whole video that teaches you how to use tipless piping bags and what to look out for to ensure success when you're using tipless piping bags. So we're going to trim our bags before we get started. Again, don't forget to check out that video. I think it'll be super helpful if you're struggling with using tipless bags or have never used them before. Grab your scribe, grab your pearls, and let's go. Side note here, if you don't have pearls, you can also use black icing or an edible pen that we've linked to in the blog post. All right, so grab your fully cooled cookies and your pearls and some tweezers. That just helps me transport the pearls when I need them. I've linked you to the tweezers below as well. And grab a little cloth or a paper towel that's been wet, so that way you can have something to wipe off your scribe with as it gets dirty from all the icing. Grab your cookies. First thing we're going to do is draw a little guide on our buoy. But first, I want to show you how to store your icing. If you don't want it to crust over or don't want it to dry at the tip, all you have to do is pinch the tip, twist it, and shove it in the middle. You can also use this way to kind of combine your icing or recombine your icing if it's been sitting around and there's natural separation due to gravity. My friend Eni, Sweet Juniper Cookies, came up with this. We have very affectionately dubbed this the Eni Outie. So thank you, Eni, for teaching us this cute storage method. And again, you can just mix it up with your finger like that if there's separation. All right, so let's get back to that ring buoy. You can choose to use like a donut shapes to make your ring buoy cookie if you want to. I just stuck with the circle today because I want to show you how you can do it without having to cut out the middle. It's still cute. I'm scratching a small circle onto the surface of the cookie. You can use like a bottle cap or something if you don't have a small circle. And that just tells me where to stop when I'm tracing the outline of that ring buoy, or that inner outline of the ring buoy. So, first thing I'm going to do is outline where I scratch the surface of the cookie, outline around it, and then fill it in with white. And you'll see me use my scribe to sort of fix the imperfect icing, or even just to fix the outlines because they're not always perfect, and I think the scribe is a great tool for that. Make sure you wipe off your piping bag by pinching the tip. Whoops, I just dropped it in my ring buoy, but it's okay. We're just gonna add some icing and pretend that never happened. There we go. So the scribe is helping us smooth out the icing, and then I tap and jiggle it for it to go the rest of the way. Set this aside to dry and start your shark. So first thing you're going to do with the shark is, you can tell how it has a little bit of a red mouth background or a layer. I'm going to show you how we do that. And again, the eye is with a PME pearl, but you can also use an edible food marker or mix up a little bit of extra black icing if you don't have any of these pearls. So we're going to take that red and we're going to paint a layer on the mouth area for that red background. Now you don't have to use brushes here, but I'm going to use the brushes that I carry in my shop to paint on that red layer. You can also smear it around using your fingers, especially if you're going to eat it and just have fun with it. It's totally okay, just smear it around with your fingers if you don't mind. Just giving it a slight layer for a background. Next thing we're going to do is fill in the body of the shark using that gray. So I'm just completely flooding the whole shape in. If you've watched this far, thank you. Really appreciate you being here. Definitely give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more. Okay, so right after you flooded it, add your little eyeball if you're using a sprinkle. Otherwise, wait for it to totally dry before adding on eyes. For the teeth details, I actually grab a little bit using the tip of my scribe, and I basically dab it onto his mouth. You can kind of tell that I dab it down and I drag it out, so it's just slightly pointy at the, at the ends. And that's what it looks like. Little shark teeth. It's details like this, I feel, that take your cookies to the next level. I think it's a lot of fun. And I think these are a relatively simple design, so you can do it with the kiddos. So set your shark aside because we can't put the fin on, or not the fin, the gills, until after it's dried. But we are going to get our ring buoy back and add the red accents. And I'm just adding 4 accents here, right over the top of the white layer. Feel free to turn your cookie to make it easier for you, make your cookie work for you. And if you notice, this is our super cute new work mat that's also available in our shop, in case you were curious. Alright, so the shark has dried for a little bit, and all we're going to do is add the 3 lines for the gills, and then you are done! How easy, but how cute were these cookies? Definitely check out the blog post below for the templates and extra tips and tricks. And don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Thank you guys so much. See you next time. Happy Shark Week.